Great. Okay. Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Middlebury Jordan information session. My name is Piper O'Sullivan and I'm the Assistant Director of Study Abroad. I manage not only the program in Jordan, but several other ones in Asia and in Europe. I know many of you are learning Arabic this semester, and if you attend the Middlebury program, I can guarantee you that your Arabic proficiency will exponentially grow. And you'll come away from the program with in-depth knowledge of the Middle East, as well as development of personal skills, such as adapting to new cultures, being more self-reliant and independent, and gaining a more global perspective. So our institutional partnership with Middlebury Jordan is relatively new. Last year was the first year that we had students attend the program from Holy Cross, and I know that Professor Ibrahim played a role in developing our partnership with Middlebury, and I'm so pleased that he's here tonight to join us. Professor Ibrahim, welcome, and can you please introduce yourself?
Me? Okay. So my name is Ibrahim Abdessalam. I think everybody in the meeting knows me. I teach Arabic at Holy Cross. I mean, this is the 5th year. And I hope that everybody attending this Zoom meeting and those who will watch it after it is available, they will enjoy studying abroad at one of the most robust programs, Arabic programs in the Middle East.
Thank you. And I'm also very pleased to have two former participants of the program who are now Holy Cross seniors, Matt and Brendan. Can you both say hi? Tell us what you study at Holy Cross and when you were in Jordan.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first if everyone can hear me. So my name's Matt, like I said, or like Dr. Sullivan said, I'm a senior here. I currently study international relations with a concentration on Arabic in the Middle East. And I was with Brendan and Jordan for the academic year up until the coronavirus, of course, from 2019 to 2020.
Hi, my name is Brendan Sanders. I am also an international studies major with a focus in the Middle East, concentration on conflict and conflict resolution. I was with Matt, like Dr. O'Sullivan and Matt both said, for the academic year this past year until we were sent home sometime in March and then finished out our courses online. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And so in my role as assistant director, I help students apply to the program. I can also answer any questions that you have about the financial aspects of study abroad, course registration, logistics, and your health and safety while overseas. So beginning in October, my schedule will be rather flexible. So I encourage all of you to please reach out to me as you work on your applications. You can schedule a meeting with me through our website, that's sa.holycross.edu, or simply attend my office hours that I have every Friday. I also want to emphasize that wherever you study abroad, it's a two-part process. First, you need to finish your Holy Cross application, which is due November 6th. And then once I approve your application, you'll move on to the second part, which is to apply directly to Middlebury. And there's a required step involved when you apply, which is to schedule an advising appointment with Professor Ibrahim. At this advising appointment, you'll have a document that needs to be signed by him called the Certification of Advising with Language Faculty Form, also known as the CAF, which will then be emailed to the Office of Study Abroad. I also encourage you to speak with your peers who have studied abroad in Jordan, especially the ones here tonight, so you can gain a better understanding of what it's like to be a student in Jordan and hear what advice they have for you as a prospective student. So in terms of eligibility for admission to the program, a minimum GPA of a 3.0 is preferred, but if it's below that or you have other concerns about your grades, please feel free to contact me directly and I'll be happy to take a look at your transcript. And before departing for Jordan, 2 full years of Arabic instruction is required, and you should have an average of a B in your Arabic classes and in your major. And you need to officially declare your major before your departure. Also, if you have any academic deficiencies, such as a withdrawal or a low number of credits, or even if you have failed a class before, there are many different ways to compensate for any of these things. So again, just contact me and then we can discuss them in more detail. So the Middlebury School in Jordan is based at the University of Jordan, the oldest public 4-year institution of higher education in the country, established in 1962. It has a strong emphasis on research and a rich background in the liberal arts. I should mention that students come from all over the United States to participate in the Middlebury program. So you'll meet a variety of new people while abroad, and many students form new long-lasting friendships in this program and are able to expand their social network. So Amman is where the program is based. It's the capital of Jordan. It's a major hub of international commerce and trade. The city is very culturally rich, full of ancient ruins, art galleries, and museums. Jordan is also a country that is welcoming to refugees. For example, it has a large population of Palestinian families that live there, and actually my Arabic language instructor in college was Palestinian, but she grew up in Jordan. So it's a very multicultural and multi-denominational place. It's also known as one of the most liberal and westernized cities in the region. So Brendan and Matt, I was wondering if you could describe what the University Jordan campus looks like. Also describe Amman for somebody who has never been there before. And would you say that the city is generally easy to navigate?
Sure. So UJ, I would say, is like a very lively and bustling campus. Lots of students, lots of coffee shops, little stores. It's a very lively place to be, which is good, especially when you're learning Arabic, because you have the opportunity to talk to so many students while you're on the campus. We sort of, like Matt and I kind of put walking around, definitely had an air of sort of being American to us. So students would definitely come up to us all the time, want to talk to us, know where we're from, what we're doing here, stuff like that, which is good, helped improve Arabic a ton. It also has a ton of restaurants in the area. The other great thing with Middlebury is they have 2 places for Middlebury students only. They have the PT office, and then they also have this place called Genora, which is just on the outskirts of the campus, which are basically areas where all of the Middlebury students congregate, either before classes, in between, or even after classes. A lot of students are there just doing homework, where you can chat with other students, obviously in Arabic because you have the language pledge, or the administrative professionals that work for the Middlebury program. I don't know, Matt, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think that's the main point I would like to echo, is that it is a very lively campus. There's a lot of students your age, Jordanian students. All of them are super friendly. They all want to help you out wherever they can. They all want to get to know you. So it's a really cool place. I met a lot of great friends there, many of whom I still keep in touch with. So it's a great place to be, and it's very different, especially coming from Holy Cross, which is obviously a small school, to kind of be in that much bigger environment. But no, it was an awesome experience to be there. Yeah.
And what is it like navigating the city? How did you guys get around?
So for the most part, it's taxis, which proves to be Somewhat challenging at the beginning, just because the taxi drivers speak very, very Jordanian Arabic, which we'll catch quickly, but at the beginning it's a little tricky. For us, I mean, I don't want to speak for Matt, but I thought we made the best of it. I thought we had fun with it. It definitely improved our Arabic. We got to see so many parts of the city while we got lost every now and then, which was also fun, made for some good laughs. The city itself, I don't know if you would expect this. I personally didn't. Extremely hilly, which was kind of a shock when we got there. But it's really fun. I mean, you get to see so many parts of the city just during like that first 3 or 4 weeks because you don't really know much about it, which is awesome. So you sort of kind of find those little niches and places that you sort of tend to regular as the semester or the academic year moves on. But once you get a hang of it, it's really not that bad. I mean, the second semester when Matt and I were there by ourselves living in an apartment, we knew the city like the back of our hands. And that was after 3 or 4 months of being there. So it definitely catches quickly and definitely helps you get a better cultural and linguistic awareness around you.
Yeah, one also I wouldn't, just to his point, it is kind of a challenge, but like Google Maps does work there. You can also, they have Uber and like Kareem, which is an Arabic or an Arab version of Uber. So if you're not like 100% certain, it's not like you're getting in a yellow cab in the city and you just know nowhere to go. You can like punch in a location and it'll get you there. So it's not a massive learning curve by any means.
Great, thank you. Is it more hilly than Worcester?
Yes. Yes.
So on to the details of the program. You will undergo a proficiency test upon arrival. Then you'll be placed in a modern standard Arabic course, probably at the high intermediate level. You'll also be required to learn the Jordanian colloquial Arabic dialect while you're there. All of your classes are taught in Arabic. There are no English taught courses. And this goes for your electives that you enroll in alongside these 2 language courses. So depending on which electives you choose, they can fulfill major, minor, and common area requirements for Holy Cross. And you also commit to a language pledge. Middlebury is famous for this. All of the programs that they run involve a language pledge where you promise not to speak any English, with exception to talking to your family, and you speak only Arabic the whole time that you're there. And it sounds intimidating, but inevitably it works to help you become more fluent, and students often feel a sense of accomplishment after enduring that. So here is a list of the electives I was just mentioning. So in the fall, you'll take the high intermediate Arabic, the Jordanian Arabic at the elementary level, and then have the option of taking 2 electives. You can see that there's media Arabic, gender issues in the Arab world, a translation class, Islam in Jordan, or current issues in the Middle East. And then in the spring semester, if you attend the program for the academic year, you'll continue with advanced modern standard Arabic, the second part of the Jordanian Arabic class. And then you have the option of enrolling in 2 electives. So these are, refugees and forced migration studies, Arabic literature, political transformations and conflicts in the Middle East. There's a course that deals with the environmental issues and water management policies. And then finally, a civil society in Jordan is the last elective. So Brendan and Matt, what was it like adapting to the full-time language pledge, especially to speaking in the Jordanian dialect? And how would you describe sort of your general academic experience? And did you have any favorite classes?
Yeah, I guess just to speak to the language pledge part, it is going to be like very difficult in the beginning. And I know I was like super worried about it, this time 2 years ago. That being said, everyone is in the same boat as you, and all your professors are also like aware of the fact that a significant part of your life has kind of just been like violently stripped away from you. So they're going to be super, understanding. None of the courses are going to like blow you away. but it is like very useful. And I think, you know, as Dr. Sullivan just mentioned, I did feel very proud of myself by the time I kind of wrapped up. In terms of classes, they were all good. So even the FUSA classes, I know Arabic, like 101, 102, they can be a little dry in that you're mostly just doing grammar stuff. But by the time you actually get to the country, you're at a level where you can start, the classes become more of maybe discussing a news article, you know, in Arabic, discussing an election. They become very interesting and you're actually starting to develop like real conversation skills. So the classes were great. I really enjoyed them all for the most part, even like the modern standard, not the elective courses. Those were all like super useful and all the content in them was a lot of fun to learn about.
Yeah, just to build off of that, I mean, I would say that the language pledge is intimidating to a lot of people, including Matt and I at first. You kind of just sort of grow into it just like anything else. It's really not a big deal. Like I said, like you're living there. So after a certain point in time, your mind and your body sort of adapt to it, and your natural reaction is sort of Arabic. Like that's kind of the weird thing that happens probably after like a month and a half, where like your knee-jerk reaction is to respond or do anything in Arabic. Like even Matt and I, when we were traveling, you know, someone spoke to us in Arabic while we were in Europe somewhere, and we immediately responded in Arabic because like that's just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, which is kind of cool. And it definitely improves your Arabic a ton. Academically speaking, it's a lot of presentations. It's a lot of like talking to your class, a lot of writing and reading, like stuff like that is sort of like a daily routine. I think probably once a week in each of our classes, Matt can attest to this, we did some sort of presentation, whether that was like, hey, come in tomorrow and be prepared to talk for 8 minutes about, I don't know, your favorite places to eat in Jordan. And like, you'd be like, okay, and you'd write down some stuff, you go in the next day. Or maybe elongated projects, like Matt and I did a project about the 2020 election going on, things like that. We all took the same electives like Matt and I did. We took gender issues, translation, and refugees, which was the second semester. I think that was probably my favorite. I don't know about Matt. It was kind of like a higher level. We had to do the first semester prior to being able to take that class, but super interesting class. The professors were awesome. That professor in particular was a human rights and refugees attorney, which was really cool. But they were all super interesting classes to take, and definitely getting like a better vocabulary understanding of each of the subject areas helps a ton.
So in terms of when you can attend the program, students can go for the academic year like Matt and Brendan did, which runs from early September to mid-May, or for the fall semester only, that runs from early December to mid-December, early September to mid-December. The spring semester only is not an option because you'll miss out on that first part of the Jordanian Arabic class. So if you attend for the academic year, you can do an academic internship for Holy Cross credit in the second semester. So you'll take 3 courses, the MSA, Jordanian Arabic, and 1 elective, and then the internship itself counts as a full 1 Holy Cross credit. And it will be graded and appear on your transcript. So Professor Ibrahim, I was wondering if you could tell us from your perspective, what can students gain from studying abroad for the academic year or the semester here? And can students continue learning Arabic at Holy Cross after they come back?
One of the things that students will be very proficient in is speaking very confidently in the dialect, which is a reality that most of the Arab people in the streets or even at the college, they speak the dialect. So one of the things that they will their Arabic will improve a lot in terms of speaking. The fact that you are using Arabic all the time at all the lectures or the activities, or even at home with the house, the host family, you will be living with the host family where you will be speaking Arabic all the time, You will go shopping together. You will cook together, and all of the activities in Jordan will be in Arabic. This means that your Arabic will improve a lot, and also the culture. You will meet the people of the Middle East. You will get a first-hand experience about the people. Uh, your view of the Arabs will improve a lot. Uh, it's a wonderful experience to get to know about the culture and the people there. How do they live? What do they believe in? Their customs, their traditions, and all of this stuff. You will enjoy it a lot. With regard to the studying Arabic after Holy Cross, yes, those guys, Matt and Brendan and Emma, they are now taking with me a tutorial. So there is no upper classes that they might take at Holy Cross, but we can work on a tutorial, or what do you call it? Supervised or extended study. So I can talk with the returning students about their preferences or their interest, what focus of what part of the language they want to focus on more, and we can work together on this. Last year, and in spite of the fact that I'm talking about one of the students who is now graduated, and she is a student at Harvard University studying for a PhD in Islamic studies. She didn't go abroad, but she finished all the available courses at Holy Cross, and she wanted to focus more on the classical Arabic. So I sat with her and know her goals, and we worked on a tutorial in classical Arabic. Those guys, they want to focus more on speaking. We are now doing reading and speaking. So they can study after returning from Jordan.
Great. Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you for sharing that. And I absolutely recommend that you consider doing an internship while in Jordan. There are a wide variety of opportunities, including in the political, educational, nonprofit, and civil society sectors. And wherever you intern, I believe there's an internship course or a class that kind of meets now and then. And this component complements the on-the-job learning to not only help build your resume, but it gives you the framework and the context for you to take ownership of your experience. And at the end of the semester, you leave Jordan with not only improved language proficiency, but the insight required to successfully navigate an international workplace. So these are some of the examples of internships available. We Love Reading. It's a local nonprofit working with children and local children, developing their reading skills. The Center for Strategic Studies is a political and economic think tank. They also, there's an internship available at the United Nations Relief and Works. You can work with at-risk children and orphan boys. And then Arab Resistance for Democracy, Arab Renaissance for Democracy and Development is a legal aid organization. So Brendan and Matt, I know each of you did an internship. Which one did you select? What was your experience like? And I believe you were supposed to write like sort of a final paper at the end.
Yeah, so I'll speak to my experience. For my second semester, I worked with the Amman Center for Human Rights Studies. So that's like an NGO that promoted broadly human rights across the MENA region. I specifically worked on, in the beginning, I did a lot of stuff on like education, freedom, and academic expression, and like how that develops in, post Arab Spring state. Then I also did a lot of research on the Egyptian prison system, and how maybe that is leading to increased radicalization across the region, particularly because of police violence. And then, yeah, for the research, so it was a great experience. And also, one thing I like to say, I could not have done that my first semester going in. So I think that just kind of speaks to how quickly you improve, and that I was doing like really, really high-end writing in Arabic and speaking in Arabic that I would have moments where I'm like, I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. So that was a really cool experience. Also, you get like invited to a lot of fun events. It was cool. Got to meet a lot of like diplomats, went to a lot of conferences. It was great. Can't recommend it enough. For the final paper, I just did a research paper on Jordanian bylaws pertaining to academic expression and like the protections provided to scholars in the country and like the academic community as a whole.
Yeah, so my internship, like Matt said, the second semester, was with an organization called CARE International, which is sort of an offset organization of the UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugees. So I spent my second semester working at a refugee camp for Syrian refugees in Jordan, this place called Al-Azraq, which was out sort of in the desert of Jordan. Through the internship, I was doing a lot of administrative work in the offices at this refugee camp for about half of it. And then the other half, I was sort of, as they would say, boots on the ground within the refugee camp, sort of assisting with facilitating the different programs that they had going on that day during the refugee camp, whether that was teaching classes to the younger refugees in the camp and facilitating sort of sports events that they had going on at the camp, or giving out sort of, they have like stipend programs, so all of the refugees can buy food and anything that they might need for that week. Each like family or individual gets a certain amount weekly. So it was a really cool experience, very eye-opening for sure. And then at the end of the semester, I wrote a final paper, which was regarding the international community's role / responsibility with dealing with the refugee crisis facing our world, where sort of certain countries, especially Jordan, are bearing the brunt of that burden compared to other countries, sort of Western countries, which haven't sort of, due to geographics, haven't sort of been bearing that burden, as they say. But very cool experience, and definitely helped develop Arabic speaking abilities quite profoundly, I would say.
Yeah, Brendan, I was wondering, where did the refugees predominantly come from? And did they speak different dialects of Arabic?
Sure. So they were all Syrian. So all of the refugees at the camp were Syrian. It was a Syrian refugee camp. So obviously they spoke Syrian Arabic, which is not extremely far away from Amia, but it's definitely a little bit challenging to understand. There were some words that were different. There were some accents that were different. They helped me out a lot. I love talking to all of the kids there, and they love talking to me, especially when we're playing soccer and stuff like that. So I could understand most of it. They were helping me out a little bit. They'd throw a lot of fusa in there just so we could find some common ground of understanding. But yes, they were all Syrian. They all had a.
Great, thank you for sharing. And now, with regard to accommodations, you'll live with a host family who will speak Arabic with you as part of the language pledge. The family will provide breakfast and dinner, so you will be billed 3/4 of the Holy Cross board charge. And many students eat out for lunch. Some students in the Middlebury program, they live in apartments during the second semester of the program, like Matt and Brendan did, but that was sort of an exception. But moving forward, the Holy Cross, the Office of Study Abroad in particular, has decided that will require students to live with the host family for the whole academic year. And so can you both say, sort of talk about what the host family experience was like, describe your accommodations, and also how was the food?
Sure. So I lived with a Christian family in Amman. They were awesome. I loved them so much, Mahan, Khalil. I was partnered up with another student. We both had our own rooms. I was with a student from Middlebury College, and we got along great. So that was awesome. The accommodations within the house, like, it's definitely kind of shocking at first. It's a different lifestyle, different culture, and you have to understand that and kind of embrace it with open arms. That being said, if you do that, it really can be amazing. Some of the food that we ate was awesome, in my opinion. The mother, Maha, was an amazing cook. She was always offering us more food whenever we were like completely stuffed. So that was like desserts after dinner, tea, everything was like always prepared. We had our own fridge. There were 2 refrigerators in the house, and she was like, this is free reign. And we would go to the grocery store with her to sort of help her pick out anything we wanted to eat for that week. Like I said, I had my own room. She just made sure that I kept it clean. Like, I didn't have to do any chores for the most part besides our own bathroom and our own bedroom. So once a week, we would rotate in and out. We would sort of clean out the bathroom, make sure our room was all in order. Whenever my room was not in order, like I was running late for class, she would, let me hear it when I got back. So just like being cognizant of stuff like that was really important. But like, it was really kind of like a make or break experience. Like it really did make my experience in Jordan, just for one, the linguistic approach to it, but also the cultural one. Like it can't be compared, being able to live like in an Arab family while you're there. Like, you really get the full experience while you're there. And I wouldn't change that experience at all.
Yeah, so very similar to Brendan, I was also with a Christian family. They usually just do like the girls stay with Muslim families and the guys with Christians, only so the women don't have to remain covered in the house the entire day. But yeah, no, it was also a great experience. I had a roommate as well. And it was like we shared a bathroom and one like kind of big room. My accommodation was actually a bit of the fluke. Usually each student does have their own room, but it was still an awesome experience. And I think linguistically, yeah, living with the host family, that's where we can get most of your EMEA from, to be quite frank with you. The EMEA course is great, but in terms of just like speaking it every day, because as you probably know, most Arabs don't speak Fusha. So my host mom, that was every meal we spoken in like colloquial Jordanian Arabic, which is great. I was very nervous going into it for a few reasons. One, culturally, it's very different. And I think that will be a very small adjustment, only because you probably were used to a very different lifestyle growing up. And now that you're in college, you probably have some freedom. Like, I had a curfew, for example. It wasn't a big deal. And, just like little things. It is an Arab country, so it is generally a bit more conservative. The food was amazing. And I think one of the things that will always kind of stand out for me was just, and you'll see this across Jordan, it's just like Arab hospitality is not a joke. They're all very nice to you. And I think I gained like quite a bit of weight while I was there because the food didn't stop. So it was awesome. Yeah, can't recommend it enough.
And then another component of this program is known as experiential learning, where learning takes place outside of the classroom. You are expected to engage in at least one extracurricular activity. You have the option of volunteering or meeting with a language partner on a regular basis, or joining a sports team or a student club. Students will be required to submit recordings on their activity in the colloquial Arabic class. And then Middlebury also organizes excursions for students and encourages you to explore Amman, the city itself, and to take advantage of all the things that the city offers, including concerts, lectures, art exhibits, and the resident coordinators are there to help you connect with all of these local events. So an example of one of the excursions is Wadi Rum. famous for Lawrence, Arabia, passing through there several times during the Arab Revolt of 1917. But it's more importantly, it's a place that dates back to historic times, and you'll see ancient rock paintings, graffiti, and remnants of temples. And then the second site is the Dead Sea. You can actually float. That you see that man reading the paper there. And actually, if you look at these pictures, that's not ice, that's actually salt. And it's been estimated to be the second saltiest major body of water in the world. And its name is derived from the fact that it's so salinated that marine life cannot exist, and it does. So now I'd like to just sort of shift gears and allow you, the returnees, to sort of answer more reflective questions. How has study abroad impacted you personally, academically, career-wise, perhaps? And what advice do you have for somebody who's never been abroad before, who has never maybe left the United States and might be a little hesitant about this idea? And then finally, both of you are welcome to share photos, especially more photos of the excursions that you took.
Yeah, so I think just the effect it's had on me, obviously personally, it has really changed the way I kind of see global events, particularly within the Middle East, and changed a lot of my opinions on, if you open CNN, you'll definitely kind of hear those headlines with a much different outlook. I think usually in a better, more positive, open-minded way. Academically, obviously, it was a great experience. My Arabic is now at a fairly high level that I'm very happy with. And career-wise, I can speak for myself at least. Being in Jordan opened up a lot of doors for me. And I was actually kind of surprised that, when I left, I basically was like, I was working in a bar. It was whatever, it was fine. And then I got back and I was getting like calls from recruiters for internships, any kind of thing like that. So like my spring semester, I got back, I worked as a security analyst, during the summer. So I did like a lot of like security issues in the region, and I used my Arabic every day during that. And my Arabic, I was very happy to find out was, I had to take a bunch of placement tests. I passed them all. It was amazing. And then this semester, I also got another internship. Right now I work for like a financial services company, and I do market research on companies within the Middle East for American investors. So anything that has to do like compliance or anything an investor might want to know about a firm prior to putting money in there. So that's a really cool experience. I also use Arabic every day for that. I also had to take a fairly significant placement test to get this current job. And, I passed it with, I'm pretty sure, flying colors. I mean, I got the job. So, it's opened up a lot of doors professionally. And I think that's the biggest thing, that if you stay for the year, you'll find that it really does put you in a league of your own in terms of the kind of jobs you can get, not even just within the government, in the private sector as well. There's a lot of demand for people who speak Arabic at a high level. So I'd say it was a great experience. And my final note would be, if you're a little hesitant, I would say just go for the year. I know I was scared to do that in the beginning. I really thought I was going to miss Holy Cross, but after 2 years of being at Holy Cross, what the biggest things you're going to miss are at Catalina and St. Paddy's Day, and those are fun. I get it, but there's still a lot of really fun stuff to do in Jordan that you'll probably never have the chance to just go into a different country that any kind of like work responsibilities ever done in your life. So if you can, I would say go for the year. That's my one piece of advice.
Yeah, I mean, Matt just covered pretty much most of it, but just to reiterate, I mean, it was definitely an eye-opening experience culturally. Matt and I both seen a lot of the world, I would say. Speaking for myself, I would say that Jordan's probably the coolest place I've been. So much so that, I mean, Matt and I are trying to go back this winter. It sort of encompasses like all of the cultural aspects of the Middle East that isn't like the modern like aspects from Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which is what I remember Professor Ibrahim telling me when we were making this decision. I was also on the fence about doing the academic year. and I just went for it, and I have absolutely no regrets. It was such a tremendous experience, and it's so different. Like, that was the thing that attracted me the most. It's different than every other program that you're going to hear about, for the most part, that all of your friends at Holy Cross are going to be doing, or even other colleges. So I mean, career-wise, like, that definitely sticks out, right? You know, you don't know many people, or I personally don't, besides the kids who went on this program, who have been to the Middle East, like on a study abroad program. Just the kids that I went with are the ones that I know who have done that. So I thought that that was kind of like one of the most attractive aspects to it. But definitely wouldn't trade it in for anything. It was such a cool experience, helped profoundly, like, with everything that I was doing academically. You really kind of cash in on what you're putting all your chips in on. You know what I mean? You walk out of there being able to speak a very, very good amount of solid Arabic, which is huge. And I thought that that was kind of like the most attractive part of the program. I also, Dr. O'Sullivan, have some photos that Matt and I kind of threw together, just a few if you want me to share those.
I'll stop my screen share.
All right. All right, so this was just I only have a few slides. So the first few photos that I threw together were just sort of like the welcoming moments to Jordan, which are definitely the most nerve-wracking. You haven't signed a language pledge yet. You're going to a foreign country, you're in the Middle East, and you only speak like very basic Fusha Arabic that you learned at Holy Cross. So that taxi ride to your host family from the airport was a little nerve-wracking, but once you get to this point, it was definitely fun getting to meet all these other students from all these other schools across the country. The big picture on the left is like and then the bottom right is like we got there the UK. We played a few games, kind of like icebreaker type games, a little corny like orientation, but it was super fun because you get to know everyone through this. And everyone sort of builds a sense of camaraderie amongst each other because you're all in the same boat, which is really cool. Like, I don't know if you've heard about that, but the Middlebury group that you're there with is such a tight group. You know what I mean? It's like your own little Middlebury niche while you're in Jordan, which is a very good source of sort of like decompressing, especially when you're overwhelmed with the task that you've taken on here in Jordan of learning Arabic and that language pledge and everything like that. So the one on the left is like the very center point of campus. You can see Matt and I in the photo. We played a little game with the ball, which is why I'm holding it up above my head. The one on the right is us playing that game. Then the top right is a picture of me, Matt, and then Emma, who's a third Holy Cross student who went abroad with us. She was there for the first semester. She didn't do the academic year. And that's at the top of the Citadel, which is this huge, not the Citadel, rather, the Roman amphitheater, which is a huge Roman amphitheater in the center of Amman in this neighborhood called Wadi Khaled. So that's another like first few days while you're there. You get to know everyone. You see some cool sights in Amman, get a better understanding for the city, how it works, how to travel, where to go. You get to eat some really, really, really good like Arab dishes while you're down there, which is really cool. Move on. So these are just a few photos from like the trips that we took. So on the left, that was Wadi Mujib, which was one of my personal favorites. It's just like hike that you take through this valley. It's all water, which was really cool. So we were jumping off of things. There were like these huge waterfalls. You were climbing up things. We all got soaked. The currents moved so quickly. So that's just at the very beginning, that photo. But if you laid on your back, the current would just take you through it, which was really, really cool. And we got some really, really fun pictures and some fun memories from that. The one in the middle is Wadi Rum, which everyone hears about because that's such a cool place to go. They actually filmed Star Wars, The Martian, Interstellar. They filmed all those movies there. So it literally looks like Mars. But that's us at the top, which I believe, and Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, is the highest point in Jordan. That's why that flag is there. And that's why we took that picture there.
Is in the background.
Okay, but that's the highest point in Jordan, right? Okay. So we took a picture once we got to that. Took like 2.5 hours to hike to the top of. That was really cool. But Wadi Rum, you spend a night out there. You get to sleep out in these tents in this camp, and they play songs. They cook these really cool dishes. So that was awesome. And then on the right, everyone knows that that's the Dead Sea. So that's me and my roommate. We're floating out and about in the Dead Sea, obviously with no hands or legs needed to stay afloat. So that's really cool. I went there a few times while I was in Jordan. All right, so here's the last few photos, just some places in Amman. On the left, that is the Citadel. So it's just like these Roman ruins, also in Wadi Khaled, that are at the very top of Amman. So that's really cool. So once you get to the top of it, it's just like these really like archaic and ancient things that the Romans have put there, and you can look out and see the entire city of Amman, which is really cool, including the flag, the Jordanian flag that waves in Amman, which according to Jordanians is the tallest flag in the world. That's unverified, I was told. So, but that's also really cool. It's a pretty big flag. I don't know if it's the biggest, but that's what they claim. Then the top right, that's us doing another adventure throughout Amman in the city. That's at Jordan's oldest house, which was kind of cool. And then you can see Wadi Khaled in the background, just like a lot of shops and like vendors and cool places to eat down there. It's just a very lively area. So we went there a lot. And then the final photo, I can see Matt and I had a little bit more hair in the picture on the far left. That is when we were at our ball to end the program, which you'll hear. You do it, Matt and I did two because we were both semester, or actually one because we got sent home early. But nonetheless, you have this like big ball in downtown Amman at this hotel. Everyone gets dressed up, as you can see. And that's when, or it looks like Matt didn't really get dressed up, but that's when you lift the language pledge. And it's really cool. I remember Professor Ibrahim telling me about this, is that the moment they do it, like Arabic is still slipping into your sentences, which is like kind of funny. But it definitely shows like how, like I said, like you have a natural knee-jerk reaction to speak in Arabic. Like your mind is thinking in Arabic at all times. And after months of doing that, that's where your mind kind of turns to. So that was really cool. It was really fun. Kind of sad to say goodbye to all your professors and everything like that. At that point, Matt and I were coming back, but we had to say goodbye to a lot of the students who were there for just the semester. Most kids just go for the semester. But yeah, that's all I really had for pictures. So I hope that was kind of helpful. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you. And I'll go back to my presentation. Okay, quickly, finances. There are no additional fees associated with study abroad in terms of application fees. Billing, you will be charged the standard Holy Cross room and tuition. And if you are the recipient of financial aid, that travels over to your semester or your year abroad. We also provide you with $175 if you're a semester student, $200 if you attend for the academic year. And this money is meant to help you cover the cost of going on excursions or joining a club or a sports group. And we make it really easy. You just take a photo of your receipt and then you email it to the Office of Study Abroad. And then we do assist you in terms of covering the cost of flights. You are responsible for buying your own airline ticket, your round trip flight, but we provide you with a what we call a travel credit that's applied to your Holy Cross bill. And it's usually the average cost of a round trip flight from Boston to Jordan and back. And so last year's travel credit was $1,400. And then in terms of visas, it's very easy. It's just $60 for single semester students as a single entry visa upon arrival, and then it can be converted into a residency permit for the academic year students. And a quick overview, again, speak with Professor Ibrahim, complete the CAF form, and then when you open an application on our portal, it's pretty straightforward. You write a personal statement, a 2-page essay, why you want to study abroad and participate in this program. You need 1 letter of recommendation. You'll also have an Arabic language evaluation that will be completed by Professor Ibrahim. You upload your unofficial transcript from STAR, And then the deadline is November 6th, but I definitely recommend all of you to start your applications early, spread out the work. We had so many people finishing their applications like on November 5th that our portal crashed. And then it took like a couple of days for the website to get back online. So anyway, after I review and approve your application, again, I'll help you apply to Middlebury directly. That application only has like one other component, which is to share an Arabic writing sample. And this can just be, you know, a graded essay that you've already produced for your class. And then much later come the pre-departure meetings. So this would occur in spring, this coming spring for the fall 2021 applicants. And in these meetings, we talk about finances and the visa and logistics in much more detail. My final remarks, please get a passport as soon as you can. If it looks like it's going to expire soon, renew it. And then the Office of Study Abroad closely monitors the COVID pandemic every week. Safety is our top priority. We won't send you abroad if it doesn't meet our health and safety measures. And every Holy Cross student will be enrolled in international health insurance and emergency assistance. It's known as International SOS. Insignia is the health provider. Middlebury also provides international health insurance and enrolls you in it, so you have essentially dual coverage while you're abroad.